Hello guys, what's up? I hope everyone is doing great today. Today we will be talking about our very first course in the channel, and this first course is, well, it's about the alphabet.
Oh my god! Wow!
I know that most of you right now might be thinking that that's pretty much expected, because when you're starting out to learn a new language, the alphabet is the first thing that you should be learning. But you might be thinking as well, why would I be doing a whole course about learning the alphabets? And why would I make so many videos about it? And why wouldn't I narrow it down to just 1 or 2 videos? Well, while what you are thinking right now is true and totally valid, I would still argue that you still need to take your time to learn the alphabets. And I'm going to mention the reasons in a second to get your mind solid on this point. They are really important. Just hear me out. It basically boils down to 2 main essential reasons. The first one is that the alphabets is basically the core of any language, or the bumping heart of it. They are pretty much the foundation and the building factor of it. You can't really father yourself or get better at the language without mastering the alphabets first, because basically the alphabets is what makes the language. And the more time you put into learning the alphabets, the more easier it will be when you dig deep later into the language. And I will give you an example to make it more simple and clear for you. Imagine you have a huge building or a block. It is built by putting small bricks all together, and without those small bricks, this huge building cannot be constructed. Now, let's take this example and apply it to any language, where the language is the huge building and the alphabet is the small bricks. That's the relationship between both of them. You can build a good skill in any language without mastering the alphabets first. And that's basically the first obvious reason. As for the second reason, it's really specific to Arabic. And the reason why I say that is because Arabic has a totally different system than any or most other languages. Let's take English as an example in comparison, as it is one of the most spoken language in the world. English has 26 letters and they are never connected to each other, no matter what the case. But Arabic is different because most letters are connected to each other in a word. A letter can be connected to another letter, whether it was before it or after it. And that's the biggest difference when it comes to those 2 languages. As for the second reason, or the second point, is that English letters never change their form no matter where their positions are in the word. And here is when the second difference comes in. An Arabic letter can change its form in the word depending on its position or place. Meaning, the form of the same letter can actually change depending on its position in the word, whether you write it in the beginning, in the middle, or at the end. Or they can be actually similar depending on the letter itself. And that's basically the second reason, and it's actually one of many other reasons, but I guess at this point you get the idea. In short, Arabic is completely alien, especially for non-native speakers, which means you need to put in extra effort and extra time to learn them, because simply it's a new system that you never experienced it before. But just because it's new, it doesn't mean it's hard, and it actually gets easy when you get to practice it and get more familiar and more used to it. And that's the case with anything new you learn. And I hope by mentioning these reasons that I got you solid about the whole idea about why you should take your time to learn the alphabets. And if you are still not totally convinced, or you're still not totally buying it, then you will fully understand what I mean by the end of this course or the beginning of the next course. And without further ado, let's stop right here and jump straight into learning the very first letter of Arabic. Alright guys, let's start off with the very first letter, and it will be the only letter that we will take today, but of course we will be going over the list of the letters or more letters in the next videos. I also want you to get used to the whole way I'm going to teach you the rest of the letter for the rest of the course. When it comes to learning the letters, we will always break it down to two sections. The first one is that I will teach you how to write the letter in general and how to pronounce it, while the second section I will tell you about the different forms of the letter depending on its position in the word, and maybe we will be adding more notices if needed depending on the letter itself. So that's basically the whole idea, and that's how it will go for the rest of the course. So let's start off with the very first letter of Arabic. Okay, so the first letter of Arabic is called Alif. 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 I want you to repeat after me. Alif. 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 You can even pause the video right now and keep repeating it to yourself. Alif. 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 And as we speak, I will write the English equivalent of it, so it can be easier for you to pronounce. Okay, now that we know how to pronounce the Alif, let's see how to write it in general. I will also show you how to do that while we speak. An Alif is one of the easiest letters to write. And to write it, simply just draw a vertical line from the top to the bottom line of your notebook, and that's literally it. It's that simple. Now I guess now you understand why it's the easiest letter to write. Alright, that type of Alif I just mentioned is called plain Alif, and the reason why I call it plain is because there are no symbols written above or under it. Wait, does this mean that there are actually symbols that can be written above or under the letter? Well, the answer is simply yes. In some cases, you might find these symbols involved with the letter Alif, but I ask you not to worry about them or get your mind busy about them, because we will cover them all in details later in some other course. And all I want you to know now is Alif is written by drawing a vertical line. Alright, now that we know how to pronounce the letter Alif and write it in general, let's move on to the next section. Alright, as we mentioned earlier, that the Arabic language is distinctive from most other languages, because the Arabic letters can actually be connected together, or their form differ depending on the position in the word. So let's see how the Alif letter looks like when you write it in the beginning, in the middle, or at the end. Alright, as a general rule of thumb, when you write the Alif letter in the beginning, it's never connected, which means it's never linked with any other letters after it. And the way you write it in the beginning is the same way you write the Alif in general. Let's take some examples to make it more clear and understandable for you. By the way, when I give you words as examples, I do not want you to worry about what they mean. I'll tell you what they mean though. And I don't need you to worry about how you write them, because this is not the purpose of this course. All I'm asking you is to focus on the letters that we take in the lessons in those examples I'm providing you. Alright, let's take the word Asad as an example, which means lion, by the way. Can you spot the Alif in this word? Yes, it's written in the beginning of the word, and as you can see, it is not connected or link it to any other letters after that. And the way that you write it is the same way you write the alif in general. Alright, let's take another example to make it more clear for you. You see this word which is called abyad, which means white in Arabic. As you can see, the first letter is alif, and it is not connected or linked to the letter after it, and is also written in the same way you write the alif in general, which is drawing the vertical line that we talked about before. So the general rule here is that when alif comes in the beginning, it is never connected. Think of it as if it doesn't like to be touched by the other letters, and alif in this case is written in the same way you write alif in general. Alright, let's move on to the alif when it's written in the middle. And when I say middle, I mean that it's written anywhere where it is not in the beginning or at the end. And when alif is written in the middle, it has two cases. It is either not connected or connected. And again, connected means it's linked to any other letter before it. Alright, let's take two examples to show that. The first one is called حراس, which means guards in Arabic. And the second one is called فقرات, which means sections in Arabic. And in those two words, you can clearly spot that the alif is written in the middle, not connected to any letter. And that's basically the first case. Now let's move on to the next case, where the alif is connected to another letters. Let's take the word nar, which means fire in Arabic, as an example. And the word far, which means rat, as another example. And by the way you pronounce far in Arabic is the same way you pronounce it in English, as in far away. Well, that's quite a small world we live in.
Nice.
Speaking of which, there are some Arabic and English words that might be having the same pronunciation. Just wanted to let you know. Anyway, now you might have spotted the alifs in those two words, and you can already notice that they are connected in both words. But how do you exactly write a connected alif? Well, simply, you just draw the alif how you do in general, then draw a line at the bottom of it where it connects with the letter before it. And that simply is the two cases when the alif is written in the middle. Okay, now let's move on to see how to write the letter alif when it's at the end of the word. When it's written at the end, it has two cases. The same cases we mentioned when it's written in the middle, where it can be either connected or not connected. Once again, let's take some examples. You see the word Canada, which means the country Canada in Arabic, and the word opera, which obviously means opera in Arabic. In those two examples, you can spot the alif where it is not connected, and that's the first case. As for the second case, let's take the word مزيكا, which means music in Arabic, and the word teknolojia, which means technology. In both examples here, you can spot the alif at the end, and they are connected, and it's written in the same way when you write it in the middle, where you draw the vertical line, then draw another horizontal line from the bottom of it, connected only to the letter before it, as it is already written at the end of the word. So in short, to summarize the whole forms of alif, the alif is never connected when it's written in the beginning, and is either connected or not connected when it's written in the middle or at the end. Now there are 3 more bonus notices we need to take care of before we end this lesson. The first one is that the letter Alif is never connected to any letter that comes after it. And it might either be connected or not connected to the letter before it. But how would I know if the other letter should be connected to the Alif or not? Well, the answer for that will be at the end of this course. And the reason for that is because it depends on the other letters themselves. Which means that there are letters that will always be connected to Alif if they are before it. And there are other letters that are never connected to Alif. And we can't know these letters right now as we haven't studied the whole letters yet. Hence why I said this question will be answered at the end of this course. So don't worry about it for now. As for the second notice, you can find multiple Alifs in the same word. And they are obviously written depending on their position in the word. Let's take the word Ingilterra, which means England, as an example. You can spot two Alifs here, one in the beginning and one at the end. And both of them are not connected. Now if you look at cafeteria, which means cafe in Arabic, you can spot two Alifs in here. One in the middle and one at the end. And both of them are connected. And so on with the examples. So the whole idea of this is that you can find more than one Alifs in the same word. Now for the very last notice, well, I would like to call it an exception more than a notice. Remember when I told you how to write the Alif when it's connected to another letter? What if I told you that there is another case where you write the Alif in a different form when it is connected? And this one case is an exception. And this exception is when the Alif is connected to a letter before it called Lam. Lam. You also don't have to worry about the letter Lam for now, as we will cover it in details when its turn comes. All I want for you to know for now is that the connected form Lam is written by drawing a vertical line, then draw a horizontal line connected to the bottom of it from the left side. Now, when the Alif comes after that connected Lam, the Alif itself should be written in another form than the usual connected Alif form that we know. And that another form is drawing a straight line coming in an inclined angle where the end of the straight line is connected to the intersection point of the Lam. Kinda like as if the Alif is bisecting the connected letter Lam. And as I mentioned, this exception only happens with the connected form of the Lam. Let's take two examples to make it more clear and simple. The word La'ib means player in Arabic. And you can notice that there is an Alif written in an inclined straight line, and that's because it's linked with the connected form of the Lam. Also, the Alif here is connected because it is written in the middle. Now, another last example to show. The word Cola, which means cola in Arabic. You can obviously spot an inclined Alif at the end of the word, and it is also written that way because it is linked with the connected form of the Lam. And the Alif here is connected because it is at the end of the word. Well, that's it for the third important notice. And again, I don't want you to worry about it or worry about the whole Lam thing, as I will cover it in details later anyway. I just want you to know for now that whenever you see the Alif written in that inclined form, it's because it is connected to a letter called Lam. Alright guys, now we have come to the end of this lesson, and that's it for today. If you have any question regarding this lesson, then please leave your question down in the comment section below, and I will gladly answer them for you. In the next lesson, we will be tackling the first 20 letters of Arabic, so get yourself ready and study the Alif letter pretty good. Goodbye for now, and I'll see you in the next Arabic Ark.